They took the idea, went to another market, had a great exit, and let me crash. So build your product on the market's feedback. That's extremely important. Otherwise, you will develop something that the market doesn't need. I was the CEO. I had all the employees, the office. How can I tell the guys now that there is no money left for their next salary? So we just closed a deal for 6 million. And we are getting, 1,500 euros out of that. But what I see is those who really develop solutions will sustainably be part of this market. When you come to this city, you need to think big.
Hey, welcome back everybody to another episode of GCC Tech Talks by 70 Experts. Joined again by my co-host, Sai. Today we've got Omar Abdellaoui on the podcast where we're going to be diving into kind of the startup world. The UAE, the GCC region, we're seeing a lot of growth, especially from the startup market. So Omar brings a wealth of experience from international organizations, enterprises, but also from the startup world. So we're here, some of the challenges, the pitfalls, the learnings that he's gone through. And I think Sai and Omar go a little bit back in terms of relationship. So it'd be good to pick both your brains. And Omar, welcome on the podcast. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks a lot for having me, guys.
Welcome, Omar. It's a pleasure to have you on the show, honestly.
Thanks for inviting me.
And also, I feel like I'm slightly dressed down. He's very well dressed, Omar.
Do you know what? I just noticed the socks. Have you noticed the socks?
Yeah, I've got golf socks on. So if you could tell, your pastime's Formula One, mine's golf. What about yours, Omar? What's your pastime?
Look at me, yeah.
Very good.
But they look good.
Yeah,
I like
thank
them.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Fancy.
Omar is actually a Formula One fan as well.
Are you?
Yeah, he's a big Formula One fan as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know when the podcast is going out, but we're going through F1 testing at the minute.
Correct.
So I think there's going to be some big changes. No DRS. There's something with the electric boost system that's going to cause some carnage, I think.
Some new teams as well.
Yeah, some new teams.
Audi look hot. I'm telling you now, the Audi look really, really good.
You're not rooting for Cadillac then?
No, I think okay. Audi is probably the one. I think Mercedes and Audi. And Mercedes didn't have two great days, should we say. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, but I feel like they kind of keep it behind closed doors a little bit in these testing days.
Well, I think those days are over, if I'm honest. You can tell by Toto's face.
Yeah.
You could usually tell by Toto's face. You could tell that the pain is actually starting to show on his face.
He's unhappy.
Yeah. He doesn't look too amused, for sure. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
For sure.
No. But Omar, before we kind of jump into the business side, a little bit about yourself. Where you're from, where did you grow up? How long have you been in Dubai? Kind of more on the personal side, just for the audience to get to know you a bit.
Yeah, just to start from the beginning.
Yeah.
I'm 34 years old now. I just turned 34 last month.
A young pup.
You don't look a day over 25.
But you know why? Mother Nature didn't bless me with facial hair. Maybe that's why.
I got the same thing. Yeah. I got the same problem.
Yeah.
Both babies. Both.
Yeah.
Anyway, carry on, Omar. Sorry.
I feel like, 26, something like that. Yeah.
Like I said, 25.
That's what most people think. Born and raised in Germany, actually, but my roots are Moroccan, third generation. Yeah. My grandfather was the first one who immigrated to Germany in the late 60s, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
And I used to live in Germany for 30 years in total. So yeah, I would say my software is German and my hardware is Moroccan, more or less, as you can see. To say it in a techie language.
Yeah. You sound quite German saying that as well. So okay.
Yeah.
So home for you is Germany then?
Yes.
You say, yeah.
Well, that's a pretty interesting question, and it's hard to answer that. What do you really define as home? But yeah, of course, Germany is my home base. But of course, I also love my roots and started experiencing my roots 15 years ago. Because when you only travel back to Morocco once a year, you don't feel really connected. And when you come back to Morocco, you are the foreigner. When you come back to Germany, you're still the foreigner. So you're kind of,
In between.
In between.
Yeah. I know the feeling.
Exactly. So
I know the feeling.
That's who I define as.
Good.
Yeah.
And how long have you been in Dubai then?
It's the third year now, yeah.
Okay.
3.5 almost.
What made you set up shop here?
To be honest, I came to Dubai, I think it was October 22 for the first time. Okay. And I immediately experienced a drive. I experienced, hey, when you come to this city, you need to think big. And that was inside of me. And it felt like I was looking for this place. I was looking for this kind of vibe and surrounding. And 4 months later, I moved over.
Oh, so it was actually quite quick.
Yeah.
So a quick romance with Dubai. Realised that these are your people.
Yeah.
A lot of people, and we see it day in and day out.
It's a global hub full of opportunities. Yeah.
And I could probably count on my hand, easily 5-10 people that are trying to do startups, that are doing businesses, that could network, find investors, and there's probably. Obviously you've got the Bay Area and places like that, but in terms of like quite a small hub, and being able to get introduced to people quite quickly, Dubai is almost unbeatable.
Networking here is super easy. Yeah, I mean, in the beginning it was quite challenging to meet people who are really authentic. Yeah, but after a while you develop a natural filter, and you get a feeling of, okay, this guy is serious, and the other one's just, I don't know, telling you some stuff that has no substance. Yeah. So that's my experience, but...
So you've been a victim of any scams then?
Yeah. It happened right in the beginning.
Okay. For our listeners to avoid a scam, are you happy to talk about what happened?
Only briefly.
Yeah,
just
sure.
Briefly.
I went to, what is it called? Al Sif, where the old souk is.
Okay.
And a guy came along, he told me, hey, you have no beard, right? I was like, yeah, obviously. Do you want one? Like, well, I wouldn't mind to have one. So I was like, okay, I can help you. There is something you just put on your skin a couple of times, and then, inshallah, you will get a nice beard, a proper one. So I was like, hey, what is he talking about? Okay, let's go with him. I was curious. So we went to a shop. He bought a bottle of hair oil. Then we went to another one, to a guy who's selling some herbs and little crystals. I have no idea. He was like a magician or something, or a guru. And he was mixing something together, put it into the oil, was shaking it. He was like, okay, you just apply it once a day in the evening. And after 3 or 4 weeks, you will see the results. I was like, okay, thank you. So I was so naive. I thought he's going to gift me this kind of thing, this mixture. Then I was like, okay, it's 2,000 dirhams. And I was shocked. So 2,000 dirhams for what? For hair oil with, salt crystals in it. I was like, yeah, this is the deal. If you want to look good, and he put it into a religious way. So like, you have to, it's a sunnah thing. I was like, okay, bro, this is going in a direction that I didn't see coming. So,
wow. Yeah, these things can happen. You got to be careful, because they'll just you get roped into these things before you know it. They've handed you what you need.
Yeah, and honestly, I gave him like 20 dirhams and just left. Yeah, for the time he has invested.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyone.
So you didn't get the oil.
He was super mad. I didn't get the oil, but I had a great experience. So.
And your learning experience.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
So in terms of when you came over to Dubai then, work-wise, did you have a business that you came over with? Did you set one up? What's kind of your background? What have you been doing?
I would say let's start like 15 years ago.
Yeah, let's go back. Let's go all the way back then.
Yeah. So once I finished school and studies, I set up my first startup. At that time, Facebook was a big thing, if you guys remember. I think they didn't even purchase Instagram at that time. Like we're talking about 2014. And as a business, you could open a business site on Facebook. And on that business page, there was a, what is it called? You had a section where you could implement, your own development or your own website, like a sub-page. Yeah. And what we did is we were in touch with a lot of local businesses like bowling places or cocktail bars, stuff like that, who were facing all the same issue. So on the weekends, it was super busy and super crowded, but during the week, it was really empty. So we tried to help them to get more clients during the week by by selling vouchers for certain groups, or as, let's say, you as someone who's running the bowling center, you can, for example, sell a voucher for 4 people with a dinner and some drinks for amount X. And it worked really well in the first couple of months. So yeah, after having a working pilot, we went to look for investors. And the first one invested some money. And of course, you don't have the experience. You work with developers who tell you a price, and you are just like, so, I don't know, you are so excited that you just say, okay, let's go, let's do it, and let's go, without any technical background or technical experience. So yeah, we paid 10K in euros and had a not working prototype. So we needed more money. And the first investor talked to his best friend, who was an entrepreneur as well, who was doing pretty well. And he was like the one who was the angel in the end, the angel investor. Yeah, but they did one thing in the end. They saw the potential. After our first developer quit, they said, okay, we're going to bring another one who is experienced from Sweden. All of them were speaking the same language. And 3 months later, they were like, okay, you know what? We don't believe in this product, and we are not going to invest anymore. And after a year, I found out they did the same in Sweden.
So they took the idea.
They took the idea, went to another market, had a great exit, and let me crash.
So they stole your IP.
Well, in the end, it's hard to prove,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, that's exactly what happened. And what I did after that, it was hard, to be honest, because I was 22, 23. I was the CEO. I had all the employees, the office, so the costs needed to be covered somehow.
You still had salaries to pay and office costs.
Exactly.
How many employees did you have?
We were a team of 5 in total, so 3 employees. But still, you're like, okay, how can I tell the guys now that there is no money left for their next salary? And that's crazy, because you start thinking in different weird ways. How can I rescue myself now? But you also feel responsible for them.
That's a very young age as well.
Yeah.
It's a very young age to learn that lesson at that young age.
Yeah.
It can be even soul breaking sometimes. I've seen it as well. I've seen this kind of scenario where the investors that you feel that you can trust turn out to be people that really you shouldn't have trusted, and you should have asked a few more extra questions. And that story about no tech background, I've seen quite a few people here, unfortunately. They've gone, diving in, shall we say, with not understanding exactly what they're paying for and what they're going to get at the end. I think those are valuable lessons. I think those are valuable lessons that you learn along the way. Is if you don't have a tech background, try and find someone that you can trust in order to validate what the guys on tech side are actually saying to you. I think that's a really, really important point there.
And I think there's always a balance, and it goes to, okay, do I want to seek outside investment, or am I bootstrapping? Because obviously when you start investing, there are people that are expecting things quickly in return for that money. So there's the added pressure of trying to deliver. And then it's going to developers, whether you offshore it in India, there's a lot of other countries, Vietnam, that do a lot of development. And it's, if I don't know these people, they're just going to get a requirements list and build it. They're not going to really care whether it's going to work or what the end user experience is supposed to be like. What's the value that this product's going to bring? They're just ticking a box, taking a payment. So I think there's kind of that learning curve that you've gone through. And we've actually just built a whole new SaaS product ourselves that we're going to market with. Started off as actually just, we had a problem and a challenge we were trying to solve ourselves that actually turned into a marketable product.
Those are the best ones.
Which are the best ones. We weren't planning to try and find a product. It's kind of just turned into this. we're sort of in a lucky position where we've got in-house developers, so we can kind of control a lot of that, and we've got another business that can fund. So, for us, we're able to bootstrap and we're able to control a lot of the developers and hire in and get rid of people quite quickly on contracts who aren't fitting the bill. But for us, it's more control. So, going into the conversation at some point, I kind of want to, understand what is it like going out for investment externally. Mm-hmm. What's that pressure like, and kind of how that whole process looks like.
I think that's the point that I was kind of trying to get across, was because we've got so many people around us that understand tech so well, we can't deviate that down the wrong path, shall we say? It's always someone that's going to stop the other person, if that makes sense. And there'll always be an opinion, like whichever way you go, like especially if it's a tech platform of some sort. Whichever way you go, everyone's going to have their own opinion. Yeah. And like for example, Sharik might say one thing, I might say another. Yeah, right. But we have to come together and think to ourselves, what is the best for the product, if that makes sense. Yeah. And then once you kind of get that into your head, what's the best for the product? What's the best for the product? What's the best for the product? That's when you can start to move forward in a rapid way, shall we say. But I think the point that, as in that comes out of this is one that's quite crucial to someone thinking about going into the startup industry, has got a fantastic idea, but has no background in tech. And I think it's important to kind of point out that you always need to validate what someone is saying they're going to deliver with another person, should we say.
I think most people are in that boat. Most people that want to start a company or a product, like a tech type product, whether it's an app, whether it's a software, tend not to know the technology. It's then hard to find, how do I find a CTO that's going to co-found this business with me? And, unless you've got someone very near and dear that can do that with you and is willing to, then it's a bit of a minefield to try and find that network and those people. By the way, just for our audience, Sharik is one of the co-founders of 70 Experts. So, that mention to Sharik, we'll stick his LinkedIn in the show notes if anyone wants to connect with Sharik.
Yeah, no, I think the crucial point here is definitely that validation. I think validation is quite important as you go through the journey. You validate. Even though the trust is there, you validate that person's input by, bringing in someone else independent, shall we say? I think if you are able to do that, I think that's some really, really good advice for new founders, shall we say? It's that validation. That validation is so important, and it can save you a lot of time, effort, and crucially, money.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So I feel like we deviated a little bit. So you did the Facebook, the Facebook gig. What came after the Facebook project?
After that, well, I had a marketing background. I studied marketing management and focused on the digital part of marketing. And I started to work with some smaller and medium enterprises in terms of social media marketing and stuff like that. Doing well, but after like a year, I was like, okay, I want to get to the next level. I want to work with bigger clients. So that was my first corporate job then. I worked with a pretty huge agency network and worked with clients like Mercedes, as I see on your chest. L'Oreal was a big client. What else? PayPal, and just to mention a few. I did it for another year. Didn't really have a nice salary, but it wasn't about the salary, it was about the experience. And I learned a lot, to be honest. It was changing a lot. And then something really cool happened. I made a break.
Do you mind if I touch upon that?
Yeah, sure.
So I want to ask a little bit about the corporate side of things. So you went from a startup to a corporate, right? That's a big change. Big change. So I wanted to kind of get your take on how did you adjust, number one?
That was hard.
Yeah, number one, how did you adjust? And number two,
You had to start setting his alarm clock earlier.
it's not that. I think it's more to do with the environment you walk into, and the decision making, and the hierarchy and all those kind of things. I think what I'm trying to ask is how did you adjust? Number one, and number two, what lessons did you learn from that time you had in that corporate? If you don't mind me asking,
I think the biggest lesson was it was so difficult to accept that you are suddenly surrounded by completely different mindsets. Yeah. They're not thinking further than from here to the next corner. They're just like, okay, I do my job and that's it. And that was hard, to be honest. I remember one conversation with my colleague, because I closed a deal for the agency, or I was part of it. I prepared the pitch and stuff like that, and we had a pretty nice job after that for a big client as well. And we were talking about, I think, 6 billion euros yearly budget. And I came back to the office, I think it was around, 5 p.m. So everyone was gone. It was only her and me. I was like, hey, this is ridiculous. So we just closed the deal for 6 billion and we are getting, 1,500 euros out of that. They're not even telling us, or they said thank you, but what was the prize they gave us, or what was the real big thing that they let us participate or to celebrate? It was, what did they give us? A fresh basket of fruits. Like, you did a great job, guys. Thank you. Let's move on. Let's get back to work. And that moment changed a lot inside of me. I was like, okay, I literally worked so hard for a basket of fresh fruits. Are you serious? Yeah, a month later, something really good happened, but that was a changing moment for me personally. Nothing against corporate work. I loved it, and I loved all the lessons that I took from there. But the mindset that people are working with was not for me.
There's usually always a moment in time that pushes someone to go, that's it, I want to go do my own thing. I think you come from a slightly different world because you did the startup thing first. So you probably got a taste of, I'm working towards building something. Yeah. And kind of feels like the sky's the limit, whereas you're going in something to learn, but actually there is definitely a limit. Yeah. Right. And I think I've been the same. I've been in sales most of my life, but I worked for General Motors for a while as a buyer. I thought, I'm working all day, every day. And the guys here have been here working for like 40 years through apprenticeships. And I think, for me, there's an itch. Like, I always like building stuff. I want to go and drive. I want to go do something. I want to, for me, I look after my family for a long time. I'm like, I'm not going to do that in this job that is a 9 to 5, pay me the same salary, and that's it. So I kind of get where you're coming from, Yeah.
I mean, there are people who are completely comfortable with that.
Absolutely.
And that's
it's not bad.
Totally okay. But for me, it was horrible. Day after day. Yeah.
I think there's different points in your life as well. And I know I already know that Omar doesn't have kids himself.
Yeah.
But like, there's different points in your life where different things are important. So sometimes, especially with a lot of contractors I've seen in the UK, they have their first child, and the first thing they think about is securing that first child.
Yeah.
And their mindset changes. They're, I'm sure you kind of agree with me here because Tom does have kids.
Nice.
But once you have your first child, like, they are the center of your world. They become the center of your world. So your work life sometimes takes a back step. Your career takes a back step because you want to give your all to that child. You also want to make sure that that child has got a secure environment around him. Secure finances around him. And I think your mindset shifts from, I want to build this, I want to build that. I just want to go to work, but I want to come home as quickly as I can because I want to see that smiling face that's at home. So I think, different, I've seen it myself in life, that different people change as they get older, or as their life changes, their lifestyles change, and they want different things. But But I think Omar is definitely the kind of guy that walked into a corporate and thought to himself, this is not for me. how can I transition from this back to where I was? Correct me if I'm wrong there.
And that's exactly what I was thinking about. Day after day.
Yeah.
So we got to the point of the basket of fruit that's basically sending you back out the door. So how long between receiving your basket of fruit to handing in your resignation?
It was a month.
Well, okay, so fairly quick after.
So this great reward, was a mind-changing experience, and something really nice happened after that. Because I think a couple of days later, I just made a break around 12:30 p.m. Went out to get, I don't know, something to eat, and I met a guy by accident.
Randomly by accident?
Randomly.
Me and Tom met like this.
Really?
Honestly. Me and Tom
I want to
met
know
like
more
this.
about that.
Yeah. You carry on though.
So, and we were all like, hey, what are you doing? Yeah, we didn't see each other for years. It was like, yeah, here's my office. The guys had a pretty nice digital platform. More or less like an influencer account, but without showing a face. They were talking about the good things in life, luxury stuff like that. And they were, they were working with big luxury brands as well. And I just told them, hey, let's have lunch together the next day. That's what we did, just to exchange some experiences and ideas. And he told me one thing. They are working with really nice brands, but one thing is missing. So they're mainly focusing on brand awareness. So the only metrics you can track is reach and impressions, nothing more. And my background was performance marketing, so I was working with hard KPIs.
Yeah. So you got your pay-per-clicks and
exactly, and return of investment and ROAS and all these things. And I was like, hey, how cool would it be to bring these two things together? He was like, okay, let's do something. So a couple of days later, he told me, hey, this is the new gig. We are invited by a luxury automotive brand to take some pictures and to do some stories, because the main target group was male entrepreneurs, who love the good things in life. I told him, hey, what about tracking all these data and engagements? Well, we can see who's engaging with the content, right?
Yep.
What if we build something like a funnel? We retarget those who have seen the content. So let's say you are seeing a reel for at least 15 seconds. That means you are kind of interested in what you're seeing, right? Let's retarget exactly those people because we already know they like the content. They like what you guys are showing them, and then giving them a clear offer. We did this pilot with one client. The topic was you can lease a car now. And we're talking about the luxury sector, right? So a car costs at least 250,000 euros. And we were able to close 4 deals.
Oh, wow.
So we made 1 million revenue with a pilot, with an experiment. And we were like, okay, this is a case.
Your MVP at that point is very successful.
That was a really nice idea because I proved myself, hey, the strategies you were thinking about actually really work. So that's why I quit my job. And we're running this business with this guy I randomly met on the street during my lunch break. And we had a pretty successful digital marketing agency for more than 5 years.
So did you go and work for, how was that set? What was the setup like? Because you said they already had a business. Did you go and work for them, or did you kind of come in as a...
I came in as another shareholder. And we grew the concept from being only an account to being a boutique agency for luxury brands.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that's a cool story. Transformation. Yeah.
Is it still running, the agency?
Well, I'm not in touch with the guys anymore, just chit-chatting here and there. But I know that they are now focusing more on producing high-quality content.
Okay.
But who's running the performance parts? I don't know if they're still doing that. But I should talk to them and see how they're doing.
So you went in as a shareholder, but you came out as a shareholder as well. You left the business completely? Okay.
Yeah. I left the business completely. I sold my shares because I needed a new chapter.
Okay.
So how long was that?
This period?
Yeah, this period.
5 or 6 years. in
so,
total.
okay, so
yeah,
it was a long
quite a
time.
long time. Yeah.
Okay.
It was nice because I could travel the world. You get invited by these lovely brands.
Yeah,
You
I
experience the cars as an enthusiast, who I am. It was beautiful.
Omar likes the nicer, finer things in life.
Finer things in life.
Yeah. It was nice. And it was a lesson as well because, I don't know, like all these fancy things that we experience here, all these materialistic things don't really touch me anymore because I had the experience. I know how it is to drive them. And for a moment, it's wonderful, but it's not giving you any extra value. It doesn't make you happy or something. It's nice to have, but it's not necessary
It's
to
like
be.
buying a fast car. It's very fast for the first 3 weeks. And
Right.
you're like, oh, God, I wish it was faster, actually. Everything materialistic wears off after a while.
You guys clearly haven't been to any tracks with cars.
I've raced many cars on tracks.
Have you? Yeah. That feeling on a track. You
On a
don't
track is but that's a one time. Yeah, but buying something materialistic does.
You don't buy a Ferrari or Lamborghini and drive it on the road. You take it to a track.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's.
I'm sorry, but you like that. That's what they're made for.
Can I borrow your Ferrari on the next track day then?
As long as you deposit the exact amount that it's worth into my bank account the day before.
Sure. So.
Time to get back on track.
Yeah,
then,
exactly.
Exactly.
So we've gone from corporate world to met a friend in a coffee shop, 5 years kind of building something quite unique.
Yeah.
Then what was kind of the pivot out of that? What made you decide to leave, and what was the next thing that came up?
Well, there was something in me that was looking for more.
Yeah.
To be honest. Yeah. And I used to look for it in a lot of different places in the world, and I couldn't find it till I came to Dubai for the first time because a friend invited me. It was I think a real estate event or something like that. And I came here for the first time and immediately said, okay, I think this is the ground that I need to grow as a person, but also in business. Yeah. And the feeling was right.
Okay.
Yeah. And 4 months later, I took my bags, came over, which wasn't easy at all because you are surrounded by something completely new. It's a completely new dynamic, surrounded by people from all over the world. And you as the unique human being that you are need to somehow get along with it.
Do you know what? I want to ask you a question, actually.
Go for it.
Off the back of Omar. How did you feel after living here for so many years and then going back to the UK? How did that feel for you? And
It was hard.
Yeah?
I grew up here, so again, fairly privileged, right? You know, I've had a very safe, pretty much most activities you could dream of, I got to do as a child. You know, there's not many places in the world where you can live in a desert but learn to ski. There's not many places you can go and just ride a motocross bike or a motorbike straight out the front door in the desert. There's not many places where you can go ride a horse or a camel or go windsurfing or diving. You know, all of these things are in arm's reach. You know, one day you could be on the beach, next day you could be dune bashing. So I went from, 18 years of, say 16 years of that to sort of a council estate in Bournemouth. I thought, what am I doing here? And I went back for university at the time, and it was definitely a shock to the system. And my parents were pretty like, right, you're off on your own now. Good luck. Quickly was through university, I was like, right, I'm going to London. I want to go and experience. I want to go work in a big city. But met my wife and kids. We had kids and worked there for a long time. But I was destined to come back. Okay. I knew what it was like. I want my kids to experience growing up abroad and growing up here. My wife's never lived abroad. She did for a very small, 6 months in Australia, but they ended up going back home. But I put it out there, people listening that haven't lived anywhere else, like you, it's worth doing because it just opens up a whole new breadth of experience, new cultures. Yeah. It might not be for you, but how do you know until you've tried it? And, for me, I'm all about just give it a shot. You know, what's the worst that can happen? Okay, you're going to pack your bags and go home again.
Yeah, it's like Omar's first crush, should we say, at school, his first school.
Your son, not
Yeah,
not you, Omar.
Yeah, so my son's called Omar, and Omar's here as well. Yeah, his first crush at school. There's a little girl, and like a really friendly, polite little girl, and I met her father. And the little girl at the time was 6, and she'd lived in 4 different places already by the age of 6. That, for me, that was astonishing. But the little girl was so happy. You could see the smile on her face. So I thought to myself, like, if a child is that resilient, that can go from one place to another with her dad kind of worked for a massive corporate that they used to relocate him every year and a half or so, should we say. So the little girl, I looked at her and I thought to myself, she's really living life. I mean, I lived in the UK for 42 years, right? That for me, I did travel. I did do a lot of traveling from about 22 until I moved here. I think I probably went to about 3 or 4 different places a year at least.
Wow.
Usually, me and my wife used to love traveling before Omar came along. But I never ever took that plunge to move somewhere abroad to live and really set up life there. We had an opportunity once to go to Singapore, and I think at the last minute, my wife decided otherwise. She wasn't ready. That's what she said to me. She wasn't ready to kind of make that move. But I'm personally so glad I made that move 3 years ago to come over here, because I feel as though, like Tom said, scuba diving was, has been a passion of mine for the last 15, 16 years. And only after moving here have I really, really got into like knowing everything there is to know about sea life, should we say.
Because it's more accessible.
Yeah,
in England, you can't go diving every weekend. It's not practical. Here,
I went once. I was so cold.
Yeah, I bet.
I got out of the water within 20 minutes and I never went back again.
Exactly. Oh, good. Okay, so
Wow.
I think we've all got a passion now for and a love and an experience of living abroad and what it means. Did you set up a business when you came here, or did you? So the idea was you moved first and set up a business, or you kind of how did that whole process look, and what was the business?
Mm-hmm. When I came to Dubai for the first time, I saw an opportunity because I mentioned, or I noticed that in Germany a lot of people are looking for business opportunities over here, and who are looking for reliable partners to set up their business structures. So me and a business partner set up a consultancy for setting up businesses and other things. Like we were also supporting with visa stuff and banking and everything related to it. And that was my first business here. But I still had my own marketing clients that I used to support in terms of performance marketing when it comes to generating leads or sales. So I had more or less two weddings I was dancing on. But it helped me a lot to come over here and to have at least a stable income.
At least that can kind of support you as you're getting this thing up and running on the other side.
Exactly. And after a couple of months, we grew pretty fast, to be honest. With the business setup thing, because it was easy for me to set up all the marketing campaigns because I'm doing that since 14 years now. So I know how to generate leads, especially those that are really qualified for our offer. My partner is the one who did the sales. I generated the leads. He converted them, and that's how we grew.
Question for you then: do you focus on business setup for Dubai or the whole of the UAE?
It just happened, or it just changed last year in November. I grew the business, and now we are doing like international company structures, working with jurisdictions in the US, in Singapore, Hong Kong, Panama, and the UAE. Because we're working with the high net worth individuals who need international structures when it comes to wealth protection and inheritance topics.
Yeah. It's a
So-
big thing for UK citizens at the minute.
Yeah, same in Germany as well.
Yeah, same with Germany as well.
So, question for you: how many companies are you seeing start up in the region in the last couple of years? It
lots.
feels like a lot.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
I've gone through the same thing. I've set up my own entity here.
Yeah.
I've been through that process with a consultancy similar to yours.
Yeah.
But can you share a little bit of light on, how many are you seeing? Are they tend to be startups? So they tend to be big internationals. What sort of sectors do you see as well?
Well, I'm one of them as well.
Yeah.
because,
Yeah, exactly.
We'll
talk about your other business in a second.
Not only with the consultancy, but I also started an AI startup last year. So I'm one of them, and I see a lot who are focusing on AI in a lot of different industries. Yeah, I see it a lot. I see a lot of ideas coming. I mean, it's a huge hype, and with every hype, only the fittest will survive in the end. But what I see is those who really develop solutions will sustainably be part of this market. Yeah. So every event I am invited to, every time I see like dozens of new startups. Yeah. But it's extremely exciting what people are doing and what AI is able to do nowadays. Yeah. I mean, who am I talking with? You are the experts. But, yeah. It's insane. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is. And it's a good place to be for that. Like
100%.
Part of our main business that I run here is data analytics and AI consultancy. So we help do data readiness for AI, analytics, core data platforms as well. But in the same vein, the startup that is a SaaS solution is an AI product. It's a data AI product.
Nice.
But, it's kind of one consultancy on one side. And then my other hat is, a tech startup that would, sounds a little bit similar to you. It's that kind of seed. It's growing. We've got an MVP. We've got our first customer. We're going to market,
Amazing.
early in the next couple of weeks. So it's exciting times to be in AI for sure.
Yeah. I agree. I don't disagree at all. I think it's like Omar was saying, it's the survival of the fittest. So, your wraparounds and those kind of businesses, they're starting to drop off. And I think the one of the things that I wanted to ask you, but I didn't want to stop you mid conversation, should we say, was that background that you have. Is so important. I don't know if you realize how important that background that you've got is within a business, because sometimes that is what's missing from a business in order to drive a business. That background that you've got, and we talked about earlier on about having the lack of technical knowledge. However, you can buy that technical knowledge. But that knowledge that you've got, right, of how and the knowledge, like that knowledge that you've gained with working with so many clients over the years, that's hard. That's hard to gain, and like as in you can buy it like from yourself, and I'm sure we're going to put up Omar's details at the on the bottom of the podcast. You can buy it, but it's gained over many years. It's the same in our industry as well. And that's one of the things that I think we haven't actually mentioned on any of our podcasts so far is the years of experience that we've got with data and analytics, especially, has put us in like the driving seat, should we say, for AI.
Yeah.
Because without data, AI doesn't work.
100%.
You could have the best technology in the world. You've got really bad quality data, ain't gonna work.
Yeah, I think a lot of businesses,
like we say in the industry, garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah, and there's too much of a big push sometimes from companies that go, I just want AI. And it's like, okay, it's not as easy as that sometimes when you're talking about enterprise data that sits in 50 different systems and is in different shapes and forms. It's not governed, not clean. How do you train an AI model on data that doesn't even make sense in the system that it's in? But
Exactly.
going back to you then. So you've got the consultancy that's helping international businesses and companies set up here. And obviously, if you want to set up your own business, reach out to Omar. We'll put your details in the show notes.
I'll be glad to help. Yeah.
You touched on a little bit the AI side. So I don't know how much you can say, but what are you doing as kind of the side project?
Yeah. When I came to Dubai, I noticed that convenience is a big thing here, right? People are used to have everything just by a fingertip. Yeah. And there are some companies in the market who are doing services. What is it called? Services on demand. Yeah, there are 3-4 players in the market, and me myself, I made some bookings on the platforms, especially when I just moved a couple of months ago to a new apartment. It was very easy, like to book a cleaner or to book someone who takes care of the furniture and the canvases on the wall and stuff like that, to assembly everything. And I saw a lack of quality. That's what I saw. Especially for me, I am used to German quality norms, of course. And when you come over here, you realize, okay, this is something different. So easy example. I had a guy who came over who needed to drill a mirror to the wall. So the first thing that he did, and I was like shocked, he didn't use a pencil. He used something that you cannot remove from the wall anymore. So I didn't take a look. He did his job. And after 2 minutes, he was like, sir, I'm done. So I took a look and I had 2 marks above the mirror. And I can see it. So I need to look at it every day. And for him, it was normal.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you get that.
I told him, bro, what's going on? Are you an artist now, or what is your job here? No, sir, it's fine. You cannot see it. Yeah. And he was like, no, sir, you cannot see it from this perspective. I was like, I can see because I know what is behind. So, and I thought, okay, if I am facing this kind of experience and issue, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one in this market. And we're talking about, I don't know, how many people are living in Dubai? 4 million. So let's say, I don't know, maybe 2.5.
I think it's a little bit more than that.
Yeah?
No, yeah. I think it's a little bit more than that. Yeah. I think the last population figures, from what I remember, Dubai was going over 6 million.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The last population.
Yeah. So I faced a lot of challenges in this market. Quality is a thing, reliability is a thing. How can I make sure that the handyman who's coming to me is reliable
and qualified,
qualified and everything? I was like, okay, there needs to be a solution for that. And what I worked out is I'm now in the pre-prototype stage with an SRS of 100 pages, talking about everything in detail. But the main core idea is to have a platform where you have service providers certified by German quality norms. So that means you as a handyman company, for example, need to go through a test. And if you reach at least 80%, you will get access to the platform.
Oh, okay.
And it's an AI first platform. That means we have some very cool features, like, I don't know, let's say there is a damage on the wall, water dripping. You just open the application, it scans the damage, it detects it and tells you who's available in a radius of 3 kilometers who can fix the issue within like 15 minutes. Yeah.
Right.
And
so did you see how many types of AI that is going to be used? So you described it as a very, very simple workflow. Yeah, you described it, and this is some of the problems that we have. Yeah. So it's like, oh, we just want to do this and we want to do that. Okay, right. Now we're going to break it down. Yeah, we're going to break it down into individual steps. Yeah, and you actually start to realize when you start to go through the technical specs, you actually start to realize there is quite a lot of steps into doing something like what you described. And I think the awareness of that isn't there. I believe in the market until someone comes across that scenario.
And I think we've got to that stage where now, like, the market were flooded with AI products. It was basically a wrapper on ChatGPT or whatever it was. Yeah. And the quality of the product wasn't great because there's no checks and balances in there. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of hallucination. Extreme. Yeah. And we're going through the same thing. We use lots of different bits of AI. Yeah. And the amount of work, we've got a full development team, full time, stand-ups 5 days a week, going through, making sure that all of these different APIs are talking to each other, the quality's there, the checks are there, because it's very easy in the AI world to make something look shiny, but in reality doesn't really work that well in production.
So I was going to add something else to it. Recently, I think it's been about 6 months now, I would say, everyone started to talk about guardrails around AI, and how do we make sure if we're regulated or there's certain compliance requirements, should we say, how do we secure that AI that it stays within our governance framework? And slowly, to be honest, at the beginning, 6 months ago, I couldn't find any tools, should we say. Now they're starting to come to the market where they're making the use of AI in order to safeguard your own AI solutions. So say, for example, Omar goes into a platform that we built for him, and there's some sensitive patient data in there, say, for example, and he has access to it. Someone else on his team doesn't, because they're in a lower rank, shall we say. How do you make sure that Omar can only see certain things and they don't see those things? And the responses that the AI gives back as well masks those things for person A, but still shows it for Omar. So, these are tools that are evolving still. They're nowhere near where they need to be. But these are the kind of things that we need to start to think about if we're going to use AI for everyday use, and we're going to replace certain processes, certain workflows with AI as well.
Yeah, AI safety is a big topic.
It's only
going to get bigger.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Shout out, I think Emma Johnson runs a podcast on AI safety. Yeah. So if you want to go discuss everything AI safety, go check out her podcast as well. But what I'd like to also discuss, and maybe for our listeners it's interesting, is how do you go from idea? Say you've come up with this idea, you found a problem or a challenge you want to solve for, and you think, light bulb moment, there's a product to be had here. How do you go from ideation to something real and bringing it to life? Like, what are the steps that you've gone through? And just make it really simple for anyone out there that is thinking, I want to start a business, but I've got no idea where I even begin.
The first step was research, because I needed to understand the markets and the, let's call it, mentality of the market. How do people behave here? I mean, people back in Germany do have another behavior when it comes to such services compared to people here, because here you're used to convenience. Yeah. And that was the first thing. So market research. Who are the competitors? Is there a market for the solution that I have in mind? And how can I validate it?
Yeah. So digging into that, how did you do the market research and how did you validate it specifically? What were the things you did?
Yeah. The first thing is I talked to people and I talked to an AI. I was like, okay, what do the people say? What does the AI say? Does it match more or less? The people told me about things like simple questions. So let's say you are living in a tower in Marina, 19th floor, for example, and you need someone to come up to fix your sink. So then you have to think about a lot of things, because the driver or the handyman who's coming to you during the prime time, he needs to find a parking. he needs a permission to enter the building. He needs to calculate the time from the ground floor to the 19th floor. What kind of tools is he bringing with him? And all these things do matter. But the AI wasn't thinking in this kind of circle. And as you just said, hallucination is a big thing. But I realized the better the quality of information you're giving the AI, the better the outcome will be as well. So I didn't, or my learning is don't ever rely 100% on AI only. There is still a real world outside, that is playing under different rules. Yeah.
Do you know what? I'm going to put that a different way. So something that I discussed with this friend of mine quite a lot is about prompt engineering, right? Okay. Prompt engineering, everyone thinks that you could put, 10 words and it will give you exactly, what you're thinking, right? How does it know what you're thinking? Because you're writing it in words. But I've personally seen that the longer the prompts, the more accurate, the more precise your answer is going to be. And sometimes you have to write, literally you have to write an essay for the large language model in order to understand exactly what you're thinking.
Or you go into the settings and you train it on your business, you as a person, what your outcome, and you have to do all of that. There's a lot of groundwork. To get an answer. Sometimes I've asked a simple question and it's come back and given me figures for 2 years ago, and I'm like, no, I've asked for 2026. Why are you giving me 2024 figures?
Yeah. I think one of the things that I think a lot of people don't understand is AI is fantastic. It's a fabulous invention, but the amount of work that goes into that, I'm going to call it a person. AI is a person now. That person, for it to give you a response, it's literally like training a human being, really, if you think about it. But the good thing for the future is that once you train that human, you can use that human again and again and again, and it can only get better.
And it's a very efficient.
Yes,
for
very
certain
efficient,
tasks.
It's
very,
very, very.
If I'm a lawyer, I'm doing document review work. You can have an AI agent trained doing that in literally minutes compared to days.
Yep.
So,
to answer your question, right? The second thing I did, I used performance marketing for my research.
Come back to your skills.
Exactly. Yep. I set up a landing page and I did something like a poll. That's how you call it. Asking different questions because I wanted a representative result in the end. Built this poll, put some budgets into the campaign because I wanted at least 1,000 people to answer the poll, asking them basic question: what are you facing in what kind of problems are you facing when you are booking a service? What are the most problems that you experienced? I don't know. Handyman was too late, cleaning lady wasn't cleaning properly, all these things. And then I noticed, okay, there is a demand in the market. Yeah. Because for me, it was like, you need 1,000 people giving you what they're thinking. And it was something, not completely, but it was different to what the AI said and what I was thinking the market needs. But no, let the market decide. Because the market always knows it best. Yeah.
So you think there's a problem.
Yeah.
Here's a problem statement I think we can solve for and the product behind it.
Yep.
Validate that with the actual market and potential buyer. And then reiterate, okay, my idea was here, but now, maybe there's a slight tweak here or there based on the real life feedback that I've got.
Exactly. So build your product on the market's feedback. That's extremely important. Otherwise, you will develop something that the market doesn't need.
Okay, so from there, you have an idea, you've got feedback. Then what? What was next?
Now, based on that, I set up the full SRS. And
SRS for our listeners is?
It's a software requirement sheet. which contains the whole software written down with every single feature of the platform.
And did you do that yourself? Did you use AI? Did you outsource it to someone to build the SRS for you?
It was a mixture of all these three things, yes. And the result was 100 pages. I worked on it for months, because every time you see something, I could do it better. But that is tricky, because if you start thinking I could do this better and that better, you will never start to develop something or to bring it to the market. So it's more a learning by doing or trial and error. But at least you need a proper base that works. So that's why I need the prototype right now. Because then I needed to decide, okay, what kind of AI features do I need in the prototype stage? Because I developed 7 or 8 different AI modules, like a forecast that can say, okay, what kind of weather are we going to have within the next days? What kind of impact will that have on, for example, the traffic, on how dirty will your balcony be? What kind of people will more likely be potential clients for cleaning services and all these things, so that the AI can predict where the demand is for certain services. But do we really need that in the prototype stage?
I was gonna say, how did you pick, and what did you pick?
Yeah.
And also, did you steer away from your initial? Yeah,
I did.
This is founder behavior.
Yeah. We were the same. Building ours, it's like you've got to be very strict with your MVP and what you're going to market with, because you can just get lost in a world of, we can have this feature and we can do this and we can do this. And then it's like your SRS and your requirements list just keeps going and going and going. And you're missing the point. You're like, what I need is user feedback. We just need to get this into market, and we need people paying for it. Is someone going to pay for the service?
Yeah.
It's not necessarily it needs to be enterprise grade ready at this stage. It's, can people access it? Can we use it? Does it solve for the problem that we initially had? You can add those features once money starts coming in and once you start getting a customer base.
Exactly. But to do so, you need a proof of concept.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, from, the times in the UK and over here as well, in the last 3 years as well, the best apps that I've seen, usually they turn into apps. The best apps that I've seen, it gets released onto the market with one feature, right? It does one thing really well, right? That captures the audience. And I'm not taking away that, the broader idea, right? I'm just saying you've taken one feature from that broader idea and you've done it and you perfected it, capture the audience. And then those iterations that you keep adding to it, keep growing it. I think one platform I can definitely say for sure is Duolingo. What did Duolingo start off as, and what has it become now? If you go back right to the beginning, it was just a few languages, and probably 6-7 chapters. That was the most that it went to. Now look at it. You can learn to play chess on it.
Yeah.
I was watching my son learn to play chess on this platform.
Crazy.
And I think sometimes, I've seen this myself, sometimes you just need to go with the idea. But the risk is sometimes that don't you get that feature right? I think, like your reputation is so important. That initial launch is so important. And I think there's a toss up, and it's like as though like your experience has taught you which way to go. And sometimes that experience or, like a third party opinion from someone that's been through it as well can benefit you as well. I think what I'm trying to get at is like, there's a trend here where validation is so important.
It is, but that's where like your first customers, you do small pilot with small customer base is super important. It's kind of, you limit it, you time box it, and you start that because you need user feedback at that point.
Yeah.
Is it easy? How is the setup? How is the support? Are there any glitches or immediate bugs that we've missed that are causing, friction with whatever platform that they're using, doing a big global rollout immediately, you would never recommend that to anyone. So you're right, it is validation, but you need to do it smart. Most people go to people that they know to go and test it first, give them early access to the platform, give people founders, pricing, they get people that sign up first, get early access and get it really cheap and lock 100%. That price in.
Yeah. Like to summarize that, what I can tell the audience as well is try not to step into the trap of over-engineering. It costs time and it stops you from moving forward. Yeah. And I know it's hard because
you get excited.
You're asking yourself, is that enough? But yeah, it will be. Yeah. Just go with the flow. Yeah,
and
trust
it costs money.
Yeah.
Every time you decide a new feature, that's more development time.
Yeah.
That's and the opportunity cost. That's more time that you're not going to market with your product.
100%. And when I'm talking about my product now, so I realized for a lot of features that I developed, I need a critical amount of data, of high quality data. Yeah. And I only can launch a certain feature when I have an X amount of users and bookings, because the engine is continuously learning and developing. Yeah.
With, just because I'm sort of conscious of time, we're going to get kicked out the podcast room at some point. Yeah. Going and finding someone technical or an offshore team, how did you go about that process of finding someone that could actually bring this to life from a technical standpoint?
That was not so easy, to be honest, because at first I talked to different agencies, developing agencies. When you start looking for agency on your phone, then you see a lot of different ads, right? We will build your MVP, we will build your go live product, all this stuff. So I talked to 6, 7, 8, I think. Okay. But you mentioned something very interesting in the beginning of the podcast. They just give you kind of a frame or a scope. They will develop it, they will deliver, and that's it. But they see it from a different perspective. Yeah. So I decided for myself, okay, that's not the way I need. That's not what I need. I need someone who's sitting in the same boat, seeing the same vision, having the same or seeing the same result, and seeing it from a different point of view, from a very technical point of view. So long story short, I met a guy on an event who just had a pretty successful exit last year. And he's an AI developer, born and raised here in Dubai. Pretty nice guy. I like him a lot. And we talked about this. Well, first of all, we talked about a website because I wanted to redesign my agency website. And he was like, yeah, normally this is not what I'm doing. So this is just a side hustle. I'm an AI developer. And I was okay, interesting. What exactly are you doing? So we were talking about my project and he really liked the idea. He saw the gap of missing quality in the markets.
He's also got pen marks on his wall.
Yeah.
I don't think it's just that.
He does.
Personally, when you told me about the idea, I thought to myself, I would use it straight away. The reason being, there's so many
checker trade in the UK sort of thing.
Exactly, yeah. Because we come from those environments where those things already exist.
Yeah.
So we're used to them. So when we've come over here, we've actually gone backwards. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, and quality wise, like some of the things. I'm not joking. Some of the things I do myself, the biggest reason being is it saves me time and headache. Mm-hmm. That's why I do certain things myself, because the way I see it, it's like once they've got to the end result, you can't go back. It's like how do you take the pen marks off of Omar's wall?
You'll paint it.
Yeah,
he's got
but you have to take the mirror off the wall. Paint the wall again.
You'll be the same guy coming back to do the painting as well.
Yeah, it's a headache.
But anyway, so I think my point is basically, I think there's a lot of people here that will pay for they will pay a premium price if they know that the result is going to be absolutely right.
Right.
I think that's the point here.
Okay. And so from a networking standpoint as well, I think we've talked about this loads. Really important because I guess you would never have met your, technical co-founder if it wasn't for networking, right?
Exactly.
Can we go into events?
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of events here in Dubai, but in Abu Dhabi as well. Like the offer is overwhelming. And it's really cool because people from all over the world are coming to Dubai for these events. So it's a great opportunity to network, to get in touch with tech people, with early stage founders, but also with investors. And that's what I can recommend. Go out, talk to people, exchange experiences, especially all the challenges you are facing in the local market. And that's bringing you forward, because sometimes you are facing a problem. You're like, okay, what is the real solution for that? And one interesting conversation can solve it. Yeah, that happened to me a lot. Or because sometimes you are so deep into developing an idea that you don't see anything else around you. Yeah, so that's why it's super important just to go out, attend, talk to people, exchange, and grow.
I think on that note, you sort of wrapped that up quite nicely.
Yeah,
No, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on, Omar. No,
Thanks a lot,
so much
guys.
for
It was
the
a pleasure.
insight.
Thanks for having me here.
Good to meet you as well.
Interesting conversation.
Yeah,
Definitely
it was really
interesting
nice.
conversation. I got to know a lot more about you as well, because I think when me and Omar do meet up, it's usually a social kind of conversation, and we try to keep it kind of social, should we say? So
Sometimes with your friends, you never go deep into topics.
exactly,
That's why you got me to kind of ask the tough questions there, Omar.
No, you did it. You did a great job. Yeah, definitely.
Good. Well, thanks so much. How can people contact you? What's the best way?
I think LinkedIn is the best way.
Yeah. Okay. We'll add your LinkedIn page.
Now you know how to pronounce my name, so
yeah. Exactly.
should work.
how do you pronounce it, Tom?
Amar? Yeah.
From here.
Omar.
Go. He's getting better, isn't he? He's definitely getting better.
He talks like a local, almost.
Yeah, he does.
Almost. I'm doing Arabic lessons, so
Amazing.
I'm learning Emirati Arabic because I
Marhaba.
grew up. Yeah. Thank you, marhaba. But I think for our listeners, please like, subscribe as well. Follow us on YouTube and Spotify, and I think you can find us on Apple as well. But it's been an absolute pleasure. We'll wrap up there. Maybe grab some food now.
Yeah,
I'm
we deserve
hungry.
it, right?
Yeah, it's quite late here.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But anyway,
Definitely.
awesome.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, Omar.
Cheers, matey. Thank you so much. Good. We're all good.
Yeah, I think we're done.
How long was that? I didn't check the time.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.